will not see happier people working on God's day of rest as you'll see us. Look, cut to the two shot. See the smiling faces. See the smiling faces. Cut to mine. See the smiling face. Why are we smiling? Hey, because there's cricket. We get to talk about cricket. We get to watch cricket. We get to enjoy cricket. And Sunday is a great day to enjoy cricket because there's 2 games going on today. So plenty to talk about. Hello and welcome to MPL Presents Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Mr. Simon Doull, Mr. Michael Vaughan. Good afternoon, gents.
Good afternoon.
G'day, mate.
G'day,
Nice
mate.
jacket.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
nice
like
jacket as well.
Thank you very much, sir.
Nice jacket as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I think you all now have to tell him by the rules of the game. You have to tell Simon nice jacket as well. So just close the loop.
Nice jacket.
Nice jacket.
Close.
Like it.
Loop is closed. All right. Chennai Super Kings and KKR looking to close some loops today as well. That's the first game that's happening. Table toppers Chennai. I don't know. I don't know how they do it, right? I mean, you keep saying, oh, it's Dad's Army. They were an old team last year, so they haven't got younger this year. But somehow, halfway through the tournament, they're still sitting on top and seemingly comfortably.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they've coped without Bravo for a few games now, you know,
Yes.
it's such a big player for them. You know, the all-round quality bowling at the death. MS Dhoni's the key.
Yeah.
You know, you take MS Dhoni out of that team, his leadership, his guidance, the way that he drives the ship. And then you've got Stephen Fleming sat in the dugout, Michael. So you've got experience everywhere you look at the Chennai Super Kings. It's dead easy. They just know how to win games.
Yeah.
They just find a way to win. They just have the right personalities. They've got the right culture. And when it gets to that moment of winning, they've just got the right temperament to be able to get over the line.
Simon, they seem to just stay calmer than everybody else in the same situation.
Well, you're calmer now than you were 10 years ago.
That is true.
We're doing television. You're so much more at ease now
Yeah.
than you probably were when you started. And these guys are used to winning.
Yeah.
I mean, Deepu will tell us at some stage. I'm sure if I asked him to tell us how many wins each team has had per individual, each T20
That's
wins,
interesting.
you know, like that team is chock full of players who win. And
So
they know how to
no.
win. They've
Yeah.
got experience, and they don't. Things don't faze them, you know. And they lose a Bravo, and they bring a young guy in like Scott Kugelheim for a couple of games. Doesn't do great, doesn't do really well, but they bring him in. They give him a taste of it. They played Santner last game. Santner wins them the game, hitting a 6 off the last ball. They've got confidence, and that's, you know, you can't teach that.
Yeah.
You learn that from coaches. You learn that from captains, and just the way people play.
If you actually look to their team, I reckon every single one of the players has won from any position.
Yeah.
And T20 cricket, you can find a way easily to lose from any position, but on the other foot, like Chennai, you can win from any position. If you're 10 for 3, Chennai will find a way to get a score to defend. Other teams will fold, they'll panic. Whereas they just know, I think it's through Dhoni, that he just says, play the long haul, just stay in the game, and then, you know what, we might have those 2 overs at the end.
Yeah.
We might hit a 6 off the last ball, but let's get to that moment. Let's make sure we're still in the game at the end. And they just back themselves for one of their individuals within the team to produce a bit of magic.
Let's
And
figure
they're
out how
loyal
to
as
fit-
well, aren't they? They're loyal because, I mean, they're showing more loyalty again today.
Yeah.
Shane Watson's, he's got to be dangling.
Yeah.
He's got to be dangling, but he's still there at the top of the
By little Freddie
top of the list.
And also, you got to say Santner's still in the team, though popular opinion would be, hey, this Eden Gardens pitch doesn't really turn much. He's still gone in with the 3 spinners and with the 3 proper 4-over spinners.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit surprised. I thought that, you know, with Harbhajan, they've been in and out a little bit because they've been playing at Chennai. I know,
Yeah,
I know, but
Harbhajan's not there.
He hasn't
Yeah.
travelled. He's got a little bug, so he stayed at home. But I just thought that with the pace and the surface that we've seen at Kolkata, they might have been tempted to bring Kugelheim back and play him instead of Santner. But these guys offer plenty
luck
with
sneeze.
the bat
Sorry.
as well. And yeah, it's just you know, we say there's some older players and there's experience, but it's just a very, very solid looking team.
He's always consistent, but I also look at
Yeah.
the players in the reserve. So someone like Sam Billings,
Yeah.
you know, he could open the batting for sure. He must be hitting them horrendously in practice. He must be missing every ball because with what Shane Watson's produced this year, he's just looked out of sync.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
Q 100 today, but he just hasn't looked right.
Yeah.
And I think MS Dhoni just likes to just stay loyal. When they're winning, he's not. You know, a lot of leaders would actually change when you're winning.
Yeah.
You know, when you lose, you go get back out there, put it right.
Yeah.
You know, MS Dhoni, it doesn't really matter. He just stays consistent.
Yeah, it seems like the results don't matter. And maybe that's what liberates the team. It's like go and express yourselves, do what you have to do, gives them the confidence. I have found a hole in Simon's theory, though. The one that you were saying, 10 years, I'm calmer with 10 years. But the thing is, so if I'm MS Dhoni, I'm obviously getting better with age, but the people around me, like these kids, They've been around 10 years as well, but I can't seem to get them to lift their game. I don't know, maybe today they'll watch CSK and learn something. This is only that much a leader can do. All right, well, before I show you the teams, let me tell you that you can make your team as well. You can be your own Dhoni. You can be your own coach and captain and leader. Just pick your super team on MPL, superteam.live. That's where you go. Pick a match today. There is, the first game is, of course, KKR versus Chennai. Make your super team. And if you're on our leaderboard, then we'll call you out. Yesterday, by the way, Simon, we got a 395 yesterday.
Wow.
A 395.
Fantastic. Good work. They're getting better.
Yeah, they're getting better.
People are getting smarter. See?
Yeah.
Hey,
There was
They're watching Cricbuzz live and learning from you guys.
and there was
Correct.
Billy Root. Billy Root won.
Did he?
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, there was a Billy Root lookalike yesterday.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Billy got in there with 390. I think it was 395.5, wasn't he, Billy?
395.5. Well done.
Right.
And Joe Root got 94.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was yesterday's conversation. Go and watch that show. It's pretty funny. But not right now. Right now you watch this. All right, the teams. You've got Kolkata Knight Riders who are going to be batting first. MS Dhoni did win the toss. All their three patients are back. Chris Lynn, Sunil Narayan, Harry Gunny.
This was the team they played 2 games ago before
right.
everybody got sick or a little niggle they talked about. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with Shubman Gill today. What do they do? We know that Robbie Uthappa is not keen on batting anywhere lower than the top 3, but at the end of the day, he's not the skipper. And what's best for the team is probably Shubman Gill in that top 3 somewhere.
Yeah.
They've got to find a way for him to bat at 3, I think, and Nitish Rana at 4. And then worry about it from then on in. So, will they do that? I don't know. You can't do any more than they did the other day.
Now and again,
But hang on, but if Rana bats 4, that means you're batting Robbie Uthappa perhaps 5,
well,
or
you
if
can
DK
float-
or Russell.
You can float it. You can
Okay.
float round the left hand. You can
Yeah.
bring him in when, I guess, Narayan goes out.
Yeah.
So I think in T20 cricket, you've got to be a little bit more flexible. But Shubman Gill, there's now and again young players come through that have to get pushed.
Yeah.
And he is one of those players. There's no point in wasting him at 6. No. You know, he opened in the last game, 60-odd, played beautifully. He has got a game to be able to be put under pressure on a more consistent basis. Get him at number 3. Robin, I'm afraid, just drops down.
If you put Shubman Gill's numbers up when he's been batting at 5 and 6 and 7 and coming in late in the piece,
Yeah.
they're sort of 3 off 3 or 6 off 4 or 6 off 9. He's not doing the job. If Robin Uthappa comes in late in the piece and has 8 balls to face, he's got quality to hit the ball over the boundary from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because he's got the experience. He's not worried about his position in that team. And it's a bit like I talked about with Jinky Rahane. The same sort of thing. He can get off strike if he's batting with Russell. He can get off strike, take the ones. He's quick between the wickets. No issue with that. And he can still play the spinners really well. He can go down the track. He can hit over extra cover. He slog sweeps. He can play the quick bowl as well. Just that experience at the back end, I would rather see, and the youth at the top. And I think that makes a better sort of balance to a team.
That's it.
Maybe Robbie's impact will be more there as well, because suddenly
Absolutely.
at number 3, that impact that he had 5-6 seasons ago.
Yeah, but sometimes, as I say, young players come through and they're just ready.
Yeah.
They're ready to be pushed and ready to perform, with more balls. You just see the game he's got. He's got a gift. He works hard. You can see he's got a great temperament. He's got to be pushed up the order.
The problem, of course, there are a few problems for KKR, and KKR traditionally has what you call the mid-season blues, right? And this is what happens to them every year. They start off, they go rushing out of the blocks, and then it sort of tapers off, and then the other teams catch up with them, because Mumbai is traditionally just the opposite, right? So these teams just catch up with them, and there's the numbers.
Well, they tend to pick a team, I think, KKR, that is probably 12 people deep.
Yeah.
Maybe 13 at the most. So an injury, an illness, which we've seen in the last game, or 3 people down with the bug, or 1 little niggle and 2 with a bug. They pick a team that is about 12 or 13 deep only. So their backup is nowhere near the quality of what's in the actual starting 11. And I think that sometimes hampers them in the back end if they get an injury or 2, or if someone is slightly out of form. Then at the back end, it's just it starts to tail off, and that's been a bit of their issue.
And they're also so reliant on Dre Russ.
Yeah.
If you're so reliant on one individual, and that individual, either gets injured, which he has in the past, or just has a game or 2 that he doesn't quite fire, well, your team's going to struggle. I also, Sunil Narayan at the top of the road is such a dangerous player, but, you can almost prepare for that. You know what's going to happen when he comes out to bat, and if you're clever, you just have a little bit of aggression with the ball and you throw it out wide with a slow ball, and generally it goes sky high into the air.
MS did that with Harbhajan
Yep.
to Sunil Narayan, got him early.
Yeah, and that's, they're a good team. They're a consistent team that basically makes the playoffs. For them to go on and win it this year, they're going to need Dre Russ to continue to play in the way that he's played so far.
Yeah, and how's he played so far? We'll have a look at this. I mean, that is a good report card. That make Daddy, Mommy really happy.
Yeah. Well, even the last two, even the losses, 50 off 44, 45 off 21 in the two losses that they've had. So he's contributed in those. Where is everyone else?
But that's the point. Simon, if you remember, last week we discussed, we said whenever he has launched, we were not giving credit enough to the top five who were getting it 250. Correct. But you notice when they don't get it there, it's not Superman, right? He can't lift the entire team and fly.
100%. He can't do everything. And I mean, he was finishing games in the first sort of 4 or 5 games, finishing them or just putting them to a total that they could not lose from. And then in the back end, he's just been able to get those runs again, but no one else is contributing.
Yeah, so that's the problem where the others have to contribute. And one of the people who has to contribute and did so when Dre Russ was hitting those winning knocks in the first few wins for KKR, a lot of the other batsmen were coming good. There was definitely Nitish Rana coming good. And the last few games, we noticed Nitish Rana is not been doing what they want him to do to set it up for Russell.
I mean, the IPL's tough. It's a long tournament. It's draining. So much travel. You got to be fit. Yeah. You've got to have a good, strong mentality because you're under so much pressure. And you're looking at inconsistent. And generally, it's the players that just have off games because they're tired or they're not quite at it mentally. Those that are consistently performing game in, game out, they're so tough and they're so fit. Yeah. And they just know how to deliver under the pressure. And you look at the KKR. There's a little bit of inconsistency because I just wonder. Are they all fit? Are they all ultimately as fit as they possibly can be? And there's a little bit of inexperience in there as well.
They're staggering numbers, aren't they, for Nitish Rana?
Yeah.
From start to end. I mean, they taper off quite dramatically. The average, the strike rate is the one that gets me for a guy batting in the top 4.
As a bowler, is there anything that you see early that you think, wait a minute, he gets found out?
Well, and that's exactly it. Maybe he looks to change something and it works for the first few games and then the scouts are out there looking and they're saying, okay, well, he's changed this. This year he's looking to hit more leg side, he's looking to get this side. We've got to change our plans to him. And then halfway through the season, he can't change again. Yeah. He can't figure it out. He's getting found out time and time again. And then all of a sudden he starts to worry about it. He starts to look for something different. And
it's like in Test cricket, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Test cricket, the second year syndrome. So a batsman comes out the traps and plays, this guy's going to be a legend. Yeah. And then the second year, because everyone's seen him the first year, he just gets found out either technically or mentally. And it's almost like the story of the IPL, that you get found out the second half of the season because if you continue to do exactly what you did in the first half, teams are smart, all these analysts, they'll find a way. There'll always be, everyone's got a weakness. Yeah. Many have many weaknesses. You can always find a weakness and I guess a matchup that is against what you naturally want to be playing against. And that's maybe what's happening with KKR.
So you get 6 months and you plan a game or you plan a certain strength and it actually just takes one ball to get you found out, right? One ball in the right slot, you get the correct guidance, you go, all right, he's not playing this really well. And you just target that and that's what it takes to basically disintegrate the guy's hard work for 6 months. Well,
and then the great players, the really good players find a way to turn that ball into a single.
Yeah.
And not let it get them out. And that's the key to the top echelon of players. They're the one that sort of, Steve Waugh, just put the hook shot away. Yeah. All of a sudden, just stopped playing it, took it on the body, found a way to make him a little more mentally tough, didn't he? And just decided that I'm not going to play it.
He took a few on the body, didn't he?
He took a ball after ball. But it didn't get him out.
Yeah.
And that was one of those things. So the great players, they find a way to turn that into a positive.
Yeah, just don't get out. Do the Chumbawamba song. I get knocked down, but I get up again. That's right. That was Steve Waugh's song, his theme tune. Okay, Chennai Super Kings. Did we see their 11? No, there's no need to. We'll still show it. We don't need to because he's playing the same 11, right? They're playing the 3 spinners. They're playing. They didn't play. I keep calling him Guggenheim. He's not the museum.
No, he's not. No, yeah. Scott Kugelheim.
Kugelheim.
Yes.
But just looking at, I wanted to bring this up because Faf du Plessis at the top has given them that solidarity that they needed. They've got Raidu down to 4. That 4 is not, cast in stone because between Raidu, Dhoni and Jadhav, you see, horses for courses. Anybody can come out. You don't know. It's a bit of a lottery. But do you think, could this be perhaps the last game for Shane Watson to come good? And
Well,
then Sam Billings.
You've got to get runs. You know, you roll at the top. He doesn't bowl anymore.
Yeah.
You know, no disrespect to Shane, but he's not going to, I guess, produce unbelievable magic in the field. He'll take a nice catch. He's got great hands, but you can't see him producing a run out or something flamboyant. So he's there to get runs at the top of the order. He's there to create chaos in the first 6. And that's what he's done for many, many years. He did that in the final last year. He's a wonderful player. And in the back of his mind, he'll know. He'll know that he'll need a score. And, you know, he'll also know that MS Dhoni is, of all the teams and of all the captains, he's the most loyal.
Yeah.
You know, so it wouldn't take, I don't think he needs an 80. But if he gets a 30 off 15, that'll be fine for a few more games.
You know, you got a 15 off, 8 or 9 the other day and just looked it's a soft dismissal, right? The square leg, he just, I don't know, just trying to hit it too hard. Can that happen as a batsman sometimes when you're just desperate for runs, you just sort of overdo it?
Well, what happens when you bat, you start premeditating the ball.
Yeah.
You know, when you're playing really well, you just watch the ball and everything happens naturally. You don't even see the fielders. You know, I can imagine now Shane Watson walks out and he can just see the technique. Oh no, there's a slip, there's a cover point, there's a square leg. He'll see all the fielders.
He's not seeing gaps.
No, when you're playing really well, you don't even see the fielders. You just know and trust your game that whatever the bowler's going to bowl, if your bowl's a good ball, you trust your kind of instincts to get off strike to get a 1. And as soon as it's in your slot, you just know that you're going to smack it to the boundary. And that's, you know, the pressure that the players are under in the IPL. It's a big book that they're earning.
Yeah.
You know, and you get 1 or 2 bad games for your country. You know, you've been playing for your national team for a few. You just know you're going to get backed, and you know you'll come good. That's just the nature of it.
Yeah.
But when you're in this tournament, and it's so cutthroat.
Yeah.
You know, they don't mind chewing players out. They don't mind. You know, you've had to. Sorry, out. You're off.
Yeah.
Get on the plane. Go home.
Ruthless Ruth.
Yeah, but that's what the IPL is, and that's why they get paid a lot of money. But you've got to perform, and if you don't perform, you know, you're going to be on the plane home looking at whether you'll get another contract next year. So it's a pressure zone that they're under over here.
Oh, you can imagine though, but he's played, 7 games now, Shane Watson?
Yeah.
That's 7 games. This is his 8th. And you're looking at Chennai Super Kings. I just want to pull out the points table once again to just see what's happening with that middle muddle, because we've got 3 out of the 4 teams playing today are part of that middle muddle traffic jam. Well, actually not Hyderabad. We haven't noticed this really, right? Hyderabad just slipped down to number 6. This was a team a week ago or 10 days ago. We were saying, this one's a sure shot.
Yeah, they were in second, weren't they? I think 3 games ago, or 2 games ago, they might have been in second place.
It was that loss to Mumbai, that poor chase. Alzara Jove is 6 for 12. That was, it was decent bowling, but they lost their minds. They played some really poor cricket in that chase.
Some horrendous shots. I was watching that again last night. We replayed it while we were doing the game, and it was just, I mean, I know he got 6 for 12, but gee, there were some ordinary cricket shots played to get 6 for 12.
It seemed like they were chasing 200 or something. The way they were getting
from that time on, Alzari Joseph has bowled 7 overs.
7 overs for, what is it?
75, I think. Since that 6 for 12, he bowled 4.
No, hang on. He bowled 2, so he's bowled 5 overs.
5 overs, sorry.
In total.
5 overs for 75.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Sunrise remind me, I mean, they're a quality unit in terms of the management and everything that they go about, a bit of the cultural side of it. I think they're missing Kane Williamson. I know it's harder getting back in, but his leadership is so important. But they do remind me of England. You know, Johnny Best at the top, they're a terrific player, but he generally has one way of playing.
Yeah.
And if he's chasing 120, he'll play the same way as if he's chasing 220.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's great when it comes off and you chase it down in 11 overs, but there's now and again that you've got to be a bit smart. That's my one concern about England in the World Cup. And you look at England in the last year or so in one-day cricket, they lose games because they play this one way.
Yeah.
They play this expansive way, which we love because we get 350s, 400s, great. But every now and again, you play that way and you're up against the Rabada with the white ball and it's half 10, it's just doing a little bit. They played against South Africa a few years ago. Lords, they were 30 for 6.
I feel like with England, if England is chasing 325, you back them. If England is chasing 225, you're like, oh, no.
Because they have to think a bit. The more they chase, the better they are because they don't have to think, they just hit. Whereas if they're chasing 260, 270, and it's just doing, they might have to have that moment of, wait a minute, we have to just play a bit here.
Yeah.
And they're not used to doing that. They don't like doing that. They like just striking it and bullying and launching it into the sky.
Yeah, so they'd be hoping that the World Cup has really flat wickets and that they are chasing, because that's the best thing, because the team batting first is going to get 350 and they'll get it done in 43. So that's what they're hoping.
They'll try.
Yeah, they'll try. One sec, we have enough balls for the World Cup though, right?
Oh, you've got white balls.
Yesterday, since you said for the Ashes,
there's about that in England.
What's that?
So the Duke ball.
Yeah.
So they've changed the Duke ball this year to help county cricket.
Why?
So the seams not as prominent. They're using the heavy roller in county cricket, so you'd have seen in the county game in April, there's 500s being scored, centuries galore.
Like friends catching
But
up.
they wanted, they've got a batch of last year's Duke balls still available. And the officers at Lords with the bigger seam, it did all against the India series, it magnificent. Swung all over. Well, they haven't got enough of those to last the Ashes, so they better go 2-0 up. So I think then they go back to this year's balls.
The one that doesn't.
So like the Kookaburra,
yeah, the one that doesn't see.
All the money the ECB have got. They ain't got enough balls.
But once again, listen, they may have all the money in the world, but they don't have a time machine. They can't go back to 2019 and get Duke.
Well, surely someone can make them the same batch. There's the machines there.
Not anymore. It's changed.
It's an individual. It can't be that hard.
I'm sure I've told this story here before, but very quickly, we played the first test in Lahore in Pakistan in 1996. And we played with these lovely cricket balls that swung everywhere. And I managed to get some wickets, and it was all good and well, and we won the test match. We turned up for the second test in Rawalpindi, lost the toss. I went down to choose the ball and opened the box. It was like, what are these? He said, ball. I said, but the ones from the last test. Oh, no, none left. I said, but the ball has completely changed from the last test match. Different brand, different everything. He said, no, none left.
Yeah.
I went upstairs, got my manager, the team manager. I said, mate, you got to come down. There's an issue. And he comes down, umpires. Where's the balls from the first set? No, none, none left. Well, you mean there's none left in the country? No, none in country. None. Use this one. Never swung a beam. Never moved off the straight. Reversed in about 15 overs for Pakistan. Mohammad Zaid played his debut. I think he got 11 for, and it just hooped around the corner after about 15 overs. We got blown away in 4 days.
I tell you, Felix, so in the 90s, there was... do you remember in Test cricket in England in the 90s where there was a choice of ball, so you had the Duke or the Reader?
Or the Reader, yeah.
Right, so you chose either or. And England picked a left-arm seamer from Gloucester called Mike Smith. Yeah. And I don't know which ball it was, but the ball that he used in county cricket, he swung it round corners, and he was just knocking every team over.
It was only medium pace, wasn't he?
He played for England at Headley. They used the other ball. He got panned everywhere. Matthew Elliott was dropped at first slip. I think it was Graham Thorpe when he was on about 8. He got a double century. Mike Smith never played again.
Oh man, you got to be careful with your balls. I mean, the seam's got to be. You understand what I mean. No need to justify it. Suresh Raina, let's talk about him real quick. Suresh Raina has been so important to Chennai Super Kings. And that's one important thing that I think both Simon and Michael, and we spoke about that with AB as well yesterday. When you stop playing competitive cricket, when you retire from international cricket, it does take its toll a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, you just, what happens? Do you go off the boil? Do you just not used to the noise?
You're just not playing against top quality opposition. Okay. And that's the key. And we've seen this time and time again. The IPL is a tough, hard competition. I mean, it's the best T20 competition in the world. You've got 4 overseas players of quality. You've got all the best Indian players on show in this tournament. So it's not easy. You can't just waltz in from club cricket, from even a little bit of domestic cricket, and expect to do well. And we've seen over the years, I can think of names like Kevin Peterson, like Matthew Hayden, like Adam Gilchrist, Brendan McCullum, guys that have come here after retirement from international cricket and tried to, first year they've been okay, but the second year in, it's just fallen away. And the decline is quite quick because you're just not in that competitive environment.
He's not played for India since June.
Yeah, I mean, the only players that cope with it are the West Indians.
Yeah.
But the difference with the West Indians, they tend to play in every single league around the world, so they're playing year on. Yeah. Whereas you go back to Gilly, just turned up for the IPL. He openly admits he struggled. Yeah. And Suresh Raina, I guess from June, he hasn't played a great deal of cricket. No. And then you arrive in this tournament, and it's a high standard. Yeah. You can't just rock up and have a dig. You're going to have to put some serious work in. And he should get better as the tournament goes on, because he'll have had more time in the middle. He'll have got used to that kind of pace, the pressure, and all the mentalities required to play at this level. So I'd expect him to get better as the tournament goes on.
Yeah, you can't just show up and just be genius. I mean, you're not Cricbuzz, right? I mean,
you can't turn up at 3:25 and go on air at 3:30 and just be like you.
With your yellow wheels on.
Your yellow shoes and your lovely...
Yellow shoes, man. Yeah. It's the magic of the yellow shoes.
I know.
Yeah?
But CSK, yeah.
At my age, the yellow shoes work wonders. That's what happens. When you're of a certain vintage, just drape yourself in yellow. The little genius comes out. Okay, well, KKR is going to be batting first, and on this wicket, they'd be hoping that, well, it's a good thing for Sunil Narine to see Harbhajan. Ooh, he's not here.
Well, that's the other thing. Who are they going to attack with?
Yeah.
Who are they going to attack Sunil Narine with? Who are they going to attack Andre Russell with? Because they've only got Shardul Thakur and Deepak Chahar with seam.
Yeah.
So they're obviously looking at Dre Russ and saying, well, what are we going to do here? Are we just going to float it wide, or are we going to use Imran Tahir? I think he'll like Imran Tahir, because Imran Tahir basically angles in at the stumps.
Yeah.
I would be tempted to bowl Santner.
We'll be delighted with that.
Well, Mitchell Santner's a little...
Happy birthday.
Yeah, look, he's just a little cleverer than you think sometimes, and he just floats that one, a bit like Daniel Vettori used to. I'm not saying he's in Vettori's category as yet, because Dan was a master at just holding that one back and floating it a little bit wider. Santner has that ability, and I think maybe that's the time to use him, but they haven't got the genuine pace, and they've only got 2 quicks, and we know how much Deepak Chahar likes to bowl 3 overs at least, maybe 4 up front.
Yeah, the afternoon game should suit the team that Chennai have picked spin.
Yeah.
Now, the sun's baking down. If it's going to grip, it'll grip in the afternoon. Yeah. Night games, you don't see any spin. It just skids on beautifully for the batsman to strike. So, I think MS will be delighted to be bowling first. Just get a little bit of purchase out of the wicket.
And Deepak Chahar did he's gotten the top order of KKR in shambles a bit before, but it's quite interesting as who MS Dhoni will pick to bowl to Narine and Lynn, because one of them doesn't like spin, one of them loves spin. So what do you do, right?
Well, he opened with Santner the other night, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I think that might be the case again tonight, but look for him to really cramp. If he opens the bowling, he'll try and cramp Sunil Narine tight in those pads and just
round the wicket.
Drift. Yeah, he'll go round the wicket and he'll drift it into the pads, and they'll set a deep mid wicket and a deep backward square.
Because it really comes for a left-hander, it's tough to face, because it really comes, his arm just sort of comes around like that. So as a left-hander, you're really sort of looking.
Yeah, and he'll
looking almost mid-on for the ball to come.
Yeah, he'll have to drag it. So he'll have a backward square or a square leg and a deep mid wicket in place, and just come around the wicket and look to really target into the pads.
Nice. Can that be successful for MS Dhoni? By the way, Santner in the last game bowled the first ball and hit the last ball for 6.
Good effort. Yeah, good.
That's pretty good. He definitely owns the bat, because that's what you get to do if you own the bat, right, in gully cricket?
That's it. Right? Bowl first, bat last.
Bowl first, and keep batting from the beginning to the end. Okay, well, that's all we have time for. We have one more thing to do. 2 more things to do, actually. The Joy Factor question. Joy, of course, he's not out. He's upstairs. That's where our Hindi studio is. He's not hanging by the roof. He's there, of course, but he's left a question for us. This is what it is. Oh, no, it's a long one, man. There is a specific test record held by an Indian in which the next 2 Indians on the list are currently playing in 16th and 17th place respectively. And the second placed cricketer's birthday is today. What is the record and who is the Indian at number 1? Yeah.
If you can decipher...
You're going to see Michael's face right now. That was priceless.
If you can decipher that, well, then you're halfway there.
Can't even understand the question.
Yeah.
There's a list.
There's a list. Who's number 1?
Yeah.
Number one's an Indian.
One of the blokes at 16 and 17 is having a birthday today. So just go on.
No. The guy at number 2. So, okay.
Oh, number 2 is having a birthday today.
So, number 1 is an Indian. Number 2 has his birthday. There are 2 other Indians on the list, and they're at 16th and 17th. Yep. So there you go. I've decoded the question for you.
So check your Cricbuzz app and find out whose birthday it is today.
Yeah.
And
see what list he's on as number 2.
Figure it out from there.
I think somebody's given us the answer already. As we discussed yesterday, this game is played on instinct. You don't have any analysts who can help you with this. It's instinct. We've got the correct answer already, I'm sure. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live on Twitter. That's where we are. Okay, MPL Super Couch guessing time. KKR batting first. It's Eden Gardens. What's it going to be, gents?
Go first. I'll let you go first today.
165.
He got it twice yesterday, by the way. You shouldn't have let him go first.
Seriously?
He got it twice yesterday. Twice.
If I win it
He's a
this next
twofer.
time,
You got a twofer.
It comes home with me.
It goes home with you. Okay, 165 plays 177.
187.
Ooh, going up.
187.
Upward curve.
187. I'm not going to let you take that couch home. You know how he's taking the couch home, though, right? He wants to take Chris Gale's bat. So I said you take 2 bats, you put the couch on top, you've got a raft, and we just push you from Mumbai. Yeah. And you'll get to England in time for the World Cup, I'm sure. Just through the Suez Canal, the Mediterranean.
I'll nip by and collect some balls from somewhere on the way home.
That's you must. Pakistan, perhaps.
Yeah.
You got to have a ball, you got to get the right ball. All right, we're going to go. We're going to see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox, and then, of course, in the middle of the game with MPL presents Cricbuzz Live. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon.